Right now, we have $300 billion of value in US dollar stablecoins. Who owns Ethereum? Right? So we haven't, when we talk about Genius, we talk about issuance, but we don't talk about settlement yet. Right? So again, the business model is not fully fleshed out because the corresponding banking business model pre-funds and gets ready for large value settlement. We haven't started talking about that yet. There's no kind of definition for how that's supposed to work. And so I think what's really kind of interesting here is that the banks are depending on friction that they didn't create, but a lot of that gets resolved with stablecoins. I'm not sure exactly how that plays out, but we know you can move a stablecoin for some cases, and it's fast and it's cheap and it works really well. Right? So you have this friction in the system and the economics that are tied to that, some of which could be resolved with stablecoins, and corresponding banking is going to be challenged on that. So the banks aren't going to just sit around and wait for that to happen, right?
When you get into looking at a stablecoin for your daily use, you want to make sure that dollar is really going to continue to be a dollar. And much of that comes down to the reserve, as said, and then also sort of mint burn speed. How quickly can you redeem? That's going to come directly from the issuer for most institutions. And so you want that to be as real time as possible. And when you go deeper there, you'll want the same sort of at the distribution level. You'll want as quickly as possible for whatever partner you buy or redeem your stablecoins with. On the compliance side, it's really important that your stablecoin issuer is tracking, the sanctions list, SOFAC, pre-freezing to make sure that no sort of the issued token ever touches a sanctioned entity. For RLUSD, we do this preventatively in an automated way. We're tracking that list constantly and making sure all of those wallets are frozen. And with that, you want to make sure your issuer has that capability of freeze and clawback. This is, again, required in most trust structures and under Genius. And then I think the third thing I talk about, DPEG risk is a bad word generally for issuers. That's the product. It should be a dollar. You want to make sure you're working with an issuer that has that liquidity experience, liquidity management across such a wide distribution of different venues that these stablecoins are being tracked for price on. Ripple, for example, has been managing this type of liquidity in our payments products globally for a decade. And so we were lucky to have this experience for free. But I think it's something that is constantly overlooked when somebody gets into the issuance of a token, because especially during the growth period, it's quite a large, data-driven undertaking, and you really need that mature experience to drive that trust for institutions.